This is an MS 290 Farm Boss from Steel. And yeah, that's a custom 20-inch bar that I put on there for extra cool points. It's my favorite saw. I've had it for a really long time, and these days it sits in my shed and hardly ever gets used. This is a very different tool. This is a mini chainsaw from Saker, and it has a 4-inch bar and a battery. Mini chainsaws like this are the hottest product category in outdoor equipment right now, and for good reason. This saw is compact, lightweight, affordable, easy to use, and fun for the whole family. When I have light to medium chainsaw work to do, I'm reaching for this guy long before I'm breaking out this guy. In this video, I'm going to show you everything this saw can do and give you 2 really good reasons why you need a mini chainsaw in your life.
Now, the first reason is one-handed use. One-handed use is a game changer for a chainsaw. On a big gas-powered chainsaw, you're always going to be two-handed, but this tool is small and light enough to use it one-handed. The safety trigger is a little cumbersome if you're on the left-handed side of things, but for right hand, it works really well. And you can see in this clip, I'm going to actually pass the saw back and forth between both hands as I'm cutting. I'm using my free hand to kind of, hang on to the workpiece a little bit and catch the pieces that I'm cutting off. I just did one hand pass right there, and I'm going to make a few cuts there. Again, the one-handed ability is just really something that you can't get with a larger saw. There's another hand pass right there, and I'm back to the right hand, just working through this branch, not really thinking twice. It just comes naturally to toss it. There's another hand pass back and forth. One-handed operation is huge. It's a game changer for a chainsaw. You can work through things really quickly. Another thing about the one-handed use is that not everyone has the use of both hands or the strength to operate a big, heavy saw with both hands. If you're older, or maybe you have an injury or a sprained wrist, or you have arthritis, or something that allows you to have a strong dominant hand and your other hand isn't as good, you're not going to have the option to do two hands with a big saw. That's where this mini chainsaw is so beneficial, because it's so small, it's so lightweight. It is very easy to operate one-handed, and it just isn't an option with a big saw. It's a huge advantage that many people don't really necessarily think about, but to a lot of people, that's really their only option. So the one-handed use is really a huge, huge advantage. Now, I wanted to test the saw on some larger pieces of wood, something that you couldn't just cut through with a handheld lopper. So I wanted to find some 2-inch, some 3-inch. This is more like a 4-inch, and it's a 4-inch bar, so this is really kind of the limit of this saw, and it cut through pretty quickly. No real problems there. Yeah, it really just kind of rips through, and nothing really slows it down too much. Again, this is the maximum capacity for this saw, and it handled it beautifully. I had this large tree that was stretching up and bending over my garage, and I should have dealt with it in the fall, but I really didn't. And then it started snowing and whatever. So the weight of the snow is actually weighing down the tree to the point where it's starting to contact the garage when the wind blows, and that's not good for the shingles. So I needed to go up there and deal with it. And if there's anything more scary than hauling up a chainsaw onto your roof and doing some tree trimming, it's hauling up a chainsaw onto your roof and doing some tree trimming during the dead of winter when there's snow on the roof. And that leads me to my second reason for absolutely having to own one of these saws, is just simply the lightweight portability and the options that that gives you. I would have never attempted this with my heavy gas saw. Hauling it up there would have been kind of a chore. Getting it started once I'm up there, it doesn't look like the roof is that steep, but again, standing up there in the snow, any little slip, I would have been, sliding down and off it. It's only a one-story garage. It's not that big of a deal, but the pucker factor was there for sure. And I wanted to deal with this, but I didn't want to fall off my roof and die either. So that's where this saw really kind of came in and saved the day. And again, you can see that one-handed use really coming into play. I'm able to use my free hand to hang on to what I'm trimming off so that I can just lightly sort of toss it down into that pile there. This is not a thin tree. This is a pretty beefy branch. It's got some weight to it. It's got a little bit of thickness to it. I couldn't just hop up with a handheld lopper by any means. It does require a saw. And again, this lightweight, small 4-inch bar electric mini chainsaw is way better to use than a big gas saw, in my opinion. I'm trying to trim up this branch that actually exceeds the 4-inch bar limit of the saw. So I made one cut on one side, and what you just saw was me hopping over to the other side to finish up the cut and take care of business. And again, that works well. I've got all my limbs cut off. I took a bunch of weight off the end of this tree, and now it's up off the garage. It's not going to be a problem. I can come back up in the spring when everything thaws out and to kind of deal with it a little bit more. Eventually, we're going to lose the whole tree, and I'll have to cut it all back, but I can do that in warmer weather. Hey, I hope you liked this video. If you did, think about subscribing to the channel. If you want to pick up one of these saws for your own, check the description. I'll have a link in there. Thanks. Bye.